G20 has absolutely failed. There's too many countries. It doesn't do anything. G7 is just one side. So what's the point? UN in almost every country in the world has lost prestige. You know what the world needs? It needs a good Congress. The last big picture thought I have, and actually this is my buddy Rashid Shah. He's an awesome friend of mine who I kind of text back and forth with. And he said to me in one of the texts, hey man, you know what the world needs? It needs a good Congress. And I immediately knew what he meant. In the 19th century, there was this era after Napoleonic Wars, the concert of Europe. And there weren't G20 conferences, okay? There weren't G7 where you have to meet every 6 months and then just do nothing and then talk about climate change and like this and that nonsense, basically, that doesn't really impact the day-to-day life of people. I'm not sure we need leaders of countries to actually talk about that every 6 months. G20 has absolutely failed. There's too many countries. It doesn't do anything. G7 is just one side. So what's the point? It's nonsense. The Concert of Europe era was an era during which great powers, which were in competition with one another, would meet in an ad hoc basis to deal with specific issues. So the Eastern question in Europe was basically the weakness of the Ottoman Empire. And as Ottoman Empire lost its grip on the Balkans and various parts of its sphere of influence, there was competition over who was going to basically deal with this. So Berlin Congress, as an example, was very important in order to deal with the fate of that. There were constant ad hoc meetings where great powers would come and decide the fate of a lesser place. It was funny because Rashid and I were both kind of thinking about the same thing, particularly when President Trump said he was coordinating with Vladimir Putin and Erdogan. I think this is a brilliant idea.
I'm going to be a little tongue-in-cheek and also set you up here. Maybe we should call it the United Nations or the United Nations Security Council.
Well, so that's a great... So no, that's a great point. So why can't we do this at the UN? You know why? Because I think that the UN is just played out. And because the UN is not where the leaders go to. Because UN in almost every country in the world has lost prestige. Like leaders, actual presidents. When was the last time you saw a White House cabinet member at the UN Security Council? I mean, okay, the UN ambassador, the ambassador to the UN is kind of like a cabinet member, but Colin Powell, that was the last time. It was 2003, man. We need a place where leaders go, the actual heads of government, in a nice resort. And what I would suggest, this is my pitch for the world peace. Do a Mar-a-Lago Congress. Just do it. President Trump, listen, first of all, you can charge rooms at Mar-a-Lago for $1 million a night, first and foremost. This is my idea, okay? The world needs a Mar-a-Lago Congress to kick it all over. This is the Congress of Vienna, right? This is the first one that we're gonna have. You get Russia, you get China, you get Turkey, obviously. Whoever else needs to be there, someone from Europe. And basically you sit down, Saudi Arabia in this particular case, Mohammed bin Salman. Israel and Iran are not invited. Or if they are, they're just watching their fate decided. Sorry, guys. Or maybe they are, maybe they're not, I don't know. The point is, the big boys and girls, to be non-gendered here, it is 2025, need to be in the room together, not in different camps. If you come to this room, it gets diluted. So great powers only. Your point is bro, that's the UN Security Council. I agree, totally true, except it's not cool anymore. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Literally, the UN is just not cool. And these people are not gonna, Putin, Erdogan, and Trump are not going to meet at the UN Security Council. They're just not.